What happens to your body if you eat raw garlic every day? There may be one small clove in your kitchen that most people underestimate. We add it to meals, throw it into a pan, use it for flavor, and that's it. But garlic is not just a seasoning. The truly interesting part begins when you eat it raw, not whole, not straight from the fridge, but prepared the right way. That's because garlic contains compounds that may affect your blood vessels, immune system, cholesterol, inflammation in the body, and even certain processes related to hormonal balance. But there is one catch. If you put it straight into a hot pan, a large part of its most valuable active compounds is lost. You get the flavor, but not the full potential of garlic. In this video, you'll see what may happen in your body if you add raw garlic to your daily routine, how to take it properly, and when you need to be careful. To understand why raw garlic is biochemically different from cooked garlic, you have to understand what happens in the seconds after you crush a clove. Inside intact garlic cells, two substances are stored separately, an amino acid called allicin and an enzyme called alliinase. They do not interact while the cell walls are intact. The moment you crush, chew, or slice raw garlic, those cell walls rupture. Allicin and alliinase collide, and a rapid enzymatic reaction produces allicin, a sulfur-containing compound of unusual biological potency. That is the molecule. That is what all the research circles back to. Now, here is the problem with heat. Alliinase is an enzyme, and enzymes are proteins, and proteins denature under high temperature. When you drop garlic into a hot pan, alliinase is destroyed before allicin can even form. You are left with flavor compounds, yes, but not the compound. Raw garlic and cooked garlic are, from a biochemical standpoint, two entirely different foods. One contains allicin, one does not. That distinction is not a minor footnote, it is the entire story. The most rigorously documented benefit of raw garlic consumption centers on the cardiovascular system, and the evidence here is solid enough that it belongs in any honest conversation about managing heart health. Allicin acts on the smooth muscle tissue lining arterial walls, causing those walls to relax and dilate, which reduces resistance, improves blood flow, and measurably lowers blood pressure. Multiple controlled trials, including randomized double-blind studies, have found that daily raw garlic consumption produced blood pressure reductions comparable in magnitude to low-dose antihypertensive medications in people with mild to moderate hypertension. Not as a replacement for medication, that conversation belongs with a physician, but as a comparison point for scale. Beyond pressure, allicin also appears to inhibit platelet aggregation, reducing the tendency of blood to clump and form the arterial plaques associated with heart attack and stroke. The dose studied most consistently is not a handful or an aggressive quantity. It is one clove, one raw crushed clove per day. That is the threshold at which these effects have been reliably observed, not more. Just one. Consistently, daily, raw. The benefits extend well beyond the heart into two systems most people would not immediately connect to a kitchen ingredient. The first is hormonal. Raw garlic contains a compound called diallyl disulfide, and research suggests it stimulates the release of luteinizing hormone from the pituitary gland. Luteinizing hormone is the upstream signal that tells the body to produce testosterone, which means garlic is interacting with the hormonal cascade at its source, not downstream. At the same time, garlic compounds appear to blunt cortisol output. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone, and chronically elevated cortisol directly suppresses testosterone production. So raw garlic is working two angles simultaneously, amplifying the signal that drives testosterone and quieting the hormone that undermines it. The second system is immune defense. Allicin activates natural killer cells, the immune system's rapid response units, and stimulates macrophages, the cells responsible for identifying and destroying pathogens and cellular debris. Studies on garlic supplementation have shown reduced duration and severity of common infections, but the longer-term implication may be more significant. Chronic, low-grade inflammation quietly degrades immune function over years, and garlic's anti-inflammatory activity appears to interrupt that slow erosion before it compounds into something harder to reverse. Zoom out further, to the timescale of decades rather than weeks, and raw garlic's profile becomes more compelling still. Garlic's sulfur compounds interfere with an enzyme involved in hepatic cholesterol synthesis, the process by which the liver manufactures LDL cholesterol, and multiple studies have documented measurable reductions in LDL levels in people who consume garlic regularly. Simultaneously, those same sulfur compounds activate liver detoxification pathways, supporting the organ responsible for filtering every toxin, hormone metabolite, and processed compound that moves through your bloodstream. Separately, at the cellular level, garlic's antioxidant compounds, including S-allylcysteine, neutralize free radicals, the reactive molecules that accumulate with age and contribute to oxidative damage in neurons, arterial tissue, and DNA itself. Free radical damage is implicated in cognitive decline, accelerated aging, and the mutations that precede serious disease. And then, there is the epidemiological picture. Populations with consistently high daily garlic intake, parts of Southern Europe, certain Mediterranean and Asian communities, show meaningfully lower rates of cardiovascular disease and specific cancers compared to populations where garlic is rarely consumed. That is correlation, not causation, and it deserves to be stated honestly. But it is the kind of correlation that keeps researchers funding the next study and the one after that. Knowing the science is one thing. Translating it into a repeatable daily habit is another, and the method matters more than most people realize. Step 1. Crush the clove. Do not simply chop or slice it. Chopping produces some allicin. Crushing ruptures far more cells and drives a dramatically more complete enzymatic reaction. Use the flat side of a knife, a garlic press, or the back of a spoon. Just make sure the clove is thoroughly broken down, not just cut. Step 2, and this is the part most people skip entirely, wait. After crushing, leave the garlic at room temperature for a full 10 minutes before you eat it or expose it to anything acidic or hot. The enzymatic reaction that produces allicin takes time to complete, and consuming it immediately after crushing means you are eating allicin that has not fully formed yet. 10 minutes is the window. Set a timer if you need to. Step 3. Eat it in a way you can sustain. Raw garlic is pungent and can be harsh on an empty stomach for some people initially. Eating it with a spoonful of honey, a drizzle of olive oil, or a dollop of yogurt significantly softens the intensity without destroying the allicin. Some people simply swallow the crushed clove with a full glass of water. 1 clove daily is the studied dose. 2 cloves are well tolerated by most people once the habit is established. Morning consumption on an empty stomach appears to maximize absorption, though consistent daily timing matters more than the specific hour. Honesty requires naming who should be careful here, because garlic's biological activity is real enough to produce clinically meaningful interactions. If you are currently taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin or aspirin therapy, raw garlic's antiplatelet effects can amplify those drugs in ways that increase bleeding risk and warrant a direct conversation with your doctor before starting. If you have chronic acid reflux or a sensitive gastrointestinal lining, raw garlic on an empty stomach may aggravate symptoms. The yogurt or honey approach helps, but the underlying sensitivity is worth acknowledging. If you have surgery scheduled within 2 weeks, garlic should be paused, as its blood-thinning properties are relevant to surgical bleeding. And certain antiretroviral medications used in HIV treatment have documented interactions with garlic supplements that make physician guidance essential. For everyone outside those categories, which is the majority of people, the barrier to entry here is almost non-existent. 1 clove, a flat knife, 10 minutes. That is the entire protocol. The cost is negligible. The habit takes less than 15 minutes a week to maintain. And the evidence, accumulated across decades of research and millions of study participants, says the effects compound quietly over time, exactly the way the most meaningful health habits always do. Go to your kitchen, crush one clove, wait 10 minutes, eat it, then do it again tomorrow.